Hey homeschoolers, I'm Melissa Webb, former full-time classroom teacher and homeschool mom turned full-time business CEO and encourager to homeschool families everywhere. I am determined and dedicated to helping you in this journey that you're on. Yes, I want to give you sound, educational, practical tips and advice, at the same time making sure that you're enjoying the family journey that you are on. So if you are looking for a place to be encouraged and inspired, you have found the perfect podcast. Homeschooling is a work of heart is truly the perfect place to start. So welcome. Let's jump in. Hello, my homeschooling friends. I hope this week you are doing well. I'm wondering if you have ever thought about how many hats you wear. I was thinking about this on a long drive that I had taken this week. And along with the daughter hat and the sister hat and the wife, mother, and friend hat, there are so many other hats. And I was just thinking, I have an educator hat. I have an author hat. I have a podcaster hat. I have a creator hat. I'm a speaker as well. There are just so many different hats. And one of my favorite hats is my coaching hat. And I think that when I think about you and what I might want to encourage you with every week in this podcast, that's probably the hat that I put on most frequently. And I know you wear so many of these same hats. We all do. And so today, I want you to also put on your coaching hat as you prepare to coach your children into becoming better question askers. My brother is a medical doctor. This week we had dinner together because my dad's in town. And Eric had said something that stood out, and I found myself resonating on it on that long drive home. And I probably should tell him he was the inspiration for this week's episode, since I know he does not listen to my podcast. Anyhow, he said that as a doctor, he is always on the lookout for the best questions to ask. And some include, while he's completing a diagnostic on a patient, he'll ask himself, or he'll ask others, could I be wrong about this? And I don't know why it just hit me really hard. I thought that is such a humbling question. I mean, he is well trained. I will tell you, I will brag on my brother all day long. He is so smart. He really got the smart genes, let me tell you. And he has nearly 3 decades of experience in medicine, and he still questions himself all the time. And he's always on the lookout for the best questions. And that got me thinking about how important the questions that we all ask truly are. As a teacher and as a mom, one of the most frequently asked questions that come to me from children is this one. Do I have to? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? Do you hear this one a lot? Or, okay, moment of honesty, do you ask it of yourself? Do I have to? I want us to get curious today, shall we? Why do children, or ourselves, why do we ask that question? Now, that's actually a good question. What are the reasons behind this common interrogative sentence, do I have to? Because it is one of my least favorite questions ever. It ranks up there with anything that is like nails on the chalkboard. That's what this question does to me when students ask, do I have to? And I think we should be asking better questions. But that is going to start when we teach our children how to do that. Because here's a fun fact for you. The questions we ask shape our learning and our experiences, our motivation. This is true for our children, and this is true for ourselves. We all need to be asking better questions out in the big, beautiful world. So Do I have to is not a great question. It's really not. And I will tell you why. I will tell you 3 reasons that I came up with here in my notes. Number 1, that question, do I have to? It tends to express resistance, not inquiry. Do you hear that? The focus is external. Like, what are the rules here? What am I obliged to do? Rather than the internal curiosity of, what will this mean for me? How will I grow from this experience? The second reason why do I have to is not a great question is because it shuts down curiosity. It's a yes, no answer. It's a permission-based question. It's not pushing anyone to engage with purpose. It's what we would call a closed-ended question. And we want to coach our children on ways to ask open-ended questions. And the third reason why I think it's just a terrible question, do I have to? It's reinforcing minimal compliance rather than ownership. Because what do we say back so often? Yes, you do. Go do it. Yes, I told you to. Now, what happens then? Kids do what's required. They show obedience. And if that's all you're going for, okay. But wouldn't you rather stretch them rather than them just being obedient children, which I'm all for in that perfect time and space. But I'm also thinking of children when they're not children, when they're adults, when they're not simply obedient, but they're thinkers. I read a really good article this week when I was thinking about this. It was actually referring to a Boston University study. The article is called The Benefits of Asking Better Questions, and I can link to it. I will just tell you, though, in a nutshell, several studies suggest that when students are taught how to develop better internal questions, those open-ended questions, they increase their higher level cognitive functions. They become better thinkers. And ultimately, that's what I want as an educator. I want to teach children things they need to know so that they can think better. Those are the people I want running the world moving forward. We want better thinkers. Now, most people have heard of this guy named Tony Robbins. He's a motivational speaker, and I've read a few of his books. But what he is known for, a really great quote. I love this quote of his. He said, "The quality of our lives is determined by the quality of the questions we are asking ourselves." I really like that. So that leads us then into, okay, Melissa, what are some better questions then? Help me out here. I'm here for you. Any question that comes from curiosity instead of compliance is a step in the right direction. I can use the Monday Grammar Challenge task as an example for us today. So every week for the students in my Wow Writers Clubhouse program, I create a lesson for them, a grammar lesson, and it's always based on the things that I'm noticing and seeing from our writing tasks. And I ask them to watch a short video where I explain some grammar component, and then I give them a grammar challenge, which of course, right, you can hear them in the beginning. They often ask, do I have to? And we have a conversation about asking better questions. But while I can use that as an example, I want you to be very open to other types of things that maybe you even say, do I have to? Do I have to change my diet? My doctor says that I'm right on the verge of becoming diabetic. Do I have to change what I'm eating? Do I have to exercise more? Do I have to get 8,000 steps every day? Do I have to wear this CPAP at night? Do I have to find a new curriculum? Again, these are all very common questions that we ask ourselves as adults. And so I just want you to apply these better questions we can ask, these open-ended questions to anything that you find yourself asking that very simple, do I have to? That has more to do with obedience than curiosity, okay? So here are a few for you. And if you have a journal, write a few down. Note where we are in the podcast. We're probably at about the 10-minute mark. You can always rewind to this spot later if you're on a walk right now and you're like, ooh, I want to know these questions. Come back later. You know, I'm a big believer in re-listening to material, because right now you're going to listen to this 15, 20-minute podcast. You're going to get something out of it, guaranteed. But if you listen to it a second time, you're going to get even more out of it. If you listen to it a third time, a fifth time, right? Listen to it multiple times and keep that in mind when you're teaching your children. Repetition is a beautiful thing. And yes, I have a podcast on that. Okay, so here are some questions for you. What will this, fill it in, doing the Monday Grammar Challenge, teach me? Get curious. Not do I have to. I come back with my students when they say that. I say, I want you to get curious. I want you to wonder, what will she teach me today? That's what I want you to wonder. It's going to feel better. You're going to get more out of it. Or here's a second question. How will this help me improve as a writer, but a healthier version of myself? Or how will this improve me as a teacher for my children? Again, fill this in and implant it wherever it works best in your life right now. I don't know what season you're in, but you do. All right, here's another better question. What part of this task is most important for my growth? Here's a fourth one. Why am I resisting? I actually love that one because that, again, is not a simple yes, no, closed-ended question. It forces you to journal out some other thoughts you're having. All right, here's a fifth one. What strategies can I try to make this easier or more interesting or more fun? Make it a game. I tell kids all the time, make things a game. When I know that I need to clean the house because people are coming over and I'm not really feeling like it, I'm like, okay, what can I do to make this more fun for me right now? I never ask, do I have to clean my house? I already know I don't have to, but I want to. So how can I make it more fun? Might be a great day to start a new Audible book. Question number 6. How might I approach this differently? And the 7th question, why is this important to me? So right there, you've got 7 great questions. Like I said, go back and listen to those. Apply them to whatever seasons you're in. But let me just tell you, I am sharing this because I know it will benefit your children and potentially you. Students develop more ownership over their learning. They increase their motivation because when they know the why and they're answering it for themselves, it is really going to make it easier for them to persist even through drudgery. They've made it important, and therefore it's become valuable. And that's true for them, but that's also true for us. We were created to acquire and seek knowledge. That's what the Bible says. If you've ever studied Proverbs, you know that learning is part of how humans were made to reflect God's wisdom and character. That whole book is considered wisdom literature for many people. And it was intended for training the next generation. So even if we go way back to ancient Eastern times, they were meaning it for royalty, those royal sons or merchants or maybe farmers. But it still holds true for anyone needing practical and moral guidance. We were created to acquire and seek knowledge. We're humans. That's what we're supposed to do. So as I wrap things up today, I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to pause and reflect this week. Listen, when you hear your child or yourself throw out the, do I have to? Instead of just answering, yes, you do, or no, just ask your child, well, what part of this is feeling hard for you? What part of this is annoying you? And instead ask, what outcome do you think I'm aiming for here today? Or what outcome do you think your teacher's wanting for you? Get curious in front of your child. Ask them things. What will doing this allow you to do later? You heard me say I need you to empty the dishwasher. Don't ask me if you have to. I want to ask you, what do you already know that getting this task done allows you to do later on? We don't want them to just give into this obedience. I just want to be told I have to, so then maybe I'll be motivated. Because that's really what it is. They're not motivated. They don't want to do it. So keep that in mind. Give them better motivation. Better motivation is getting them to think for themselves. So again, I want to encourage you that when we're studying, we have our children reading various material, give your kids paper and pen this week and ask them to write down questions as they are reading or listening or watching a video. Get them used to asking better questions, those open-ended questions. Let's say you guys are studying ancient civilizations and they read in the book that ancient Mayans would put these boards on their babies' foreheads that would press the forehead in, and they would dangle these beads so that they would float right in front of the noses of their babies. True, they did this. So they might ask the question, why would they do that? Now, as they read on, they could find their answer. Great. But they're asking the question from a space of curiosity. Why did they think that was a good idea? And then later on, a few paragraphs go by and they find the answer. During that time, a perfect look meant that adults were cross-eyed and they had a flattened forehead. So some babies had these forehead boards put on them and beads dangled in front of their nose so that as an adult, they would be cross-eyed and flattened forehead. It's interesting. They might have more questions then. Why did they think that? Now, not all questions have answers, but what's great is if the questions are answered in the reading, wonderful. And if they are not, what great discussions and further research you can talk about and experience together. That makes memorable learning. That is so much important than, guess what? I read my page. Okay, great. Check it off. Conversations are where learning happens. We need to be able to talk, to question things, to discuss things. That's so important. And I want you to also model your own questioning. I want you to talk out loud, say things out loud. In our program, at the end of every month, the students complete an essay and we give them thorough feedback on every essay they write. So when your child is about to watch that, wonder out loud. Say, I wonder how this feedback that Mrs. Webb is going to give us is going to help your writing improve. Get curious. Not like, okay, come on, we have to watch the video. No, you actually don't have to watch the video. Let's get curious. I wonder how this feedback is going to help us. And let them hear you wrestle with other questions, personal questions like, why do I always say we're going to do this, but then I change my mind? I want to figure myself out. Why do I do that? These open, honest conversations are game changers when it comes to building relationships and just making this world a better place. Here's the thing, you know this already. Kids ask, do I have to? Often out of laziness. It's their way to evade work. It's their way to get motivation that they are lacking. That is real. But even then, better questions are going to help reveal what's behind that resistance. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed. Like I mentioned, maybe they're lacking motivation. Maybe they're unclear on what the instructions are. It could be anything, but you're not going to find out with a do I have to question. Better questions. That's what we want to focus on. Yes, because I said so, does still work. It does in many households. I get it. It's an obedience thing. I think we may be missing out on an opportunity for growth if that's all we're doing. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying consider other options. And I really hope that this week's podcast does not feel like I am saying you need to put an additional task into your daily teaching. This is conversational. I just want you to get curious. Let's start there. And so I'm going to challenge you. What better questions can you ask today? And how can you help your children ask better questions too? Hey, send any questions my way. You know I am all ears. I will be happy to get curious with you. Right on. Well, thanks so much for tuning in and listening this week. Hey, if this was something that you found valuable, don't forget you want to subscribe or follow so that every time a new episode is dropped, you'll be the first to know. And hey, before you go, if you are looking to get some of this academic writing under your belt and outsourced so that it's one less thing, freeing you up to enjoy more time with your family, hey, you're going to want to head over to writeonweb.com to see what kinds of resources and materials I have available for you. I will look forward to seeing you there, and I will look forward to seeing you here in our next episode. Right on.